Larry Summers is an American economist. He was president of Harvard in 2005 when he proposed that perhaps there were aptitude differences between men and women. He also made some other statements. I don't find a hypothesis like that particularly troubling. Suppose there are differences between men and women. That's not all that surprising, is it? But in Summers' case, it was controversial because he was talking about maybe men are more successful than women because of aptitude differences. So again, I don't think the hypothesis itself should be considered offensive. What I do think is before you make a hypothesis like that, or any kind of controversial hypothesis, you should think about how you're going to test it. So let's suppose that no one had dared propose that the Earth was round. We wouldn't make very much progress. Similarly, any kind of hypothesis should be considered non-offensive, especially if it's actually testable. Now, in our society, testable things don't seem all that important in the public eye. They don't seem all that important to news organizations and certainly not to politicians. But if we're going to advance science, I think we need to be a little more candid about, sure, it may be true there are differences, and those differences might actually amount to something in the long run. But you got to think, how are you going to test it? I don't think you can test on an aptitude test whether men and women have differences that might lead to different kinds of successes. But I do think you might be able to break that problem down. So my question to you is, how do you break that down into a testable hypothesis such that you can actually make some progress rather than just stirring the pot?